This is the EPL Rewind, and I am President Chad, and this is Alays. How you doing, brother?
Yeah, boy, I real good. Well, football, the Premier League is back. The Premier League is back, President Chad, and yeah, I real good because of that. I real good because of
For
that.
sure, for sure. So, on the EPL Rewind on the United Hour, it is exactly what the show says. It's a rewind, so we're going to be looking and going through all the games. Of course, we're going to focus on some of the more popular games or some of the more interesting events that would have taken place on the weekend. But we're going to be touching all the games. So the Premier League kicked off on Friday with Crystal Palace versus Arsenal, and we had two goals. It was Arsenal 2, Crystal Palace none,
Yeah.
and Martinelli scored, and the second score was an own goal created by Saka. We're not really going to focus on who actually scored the own goal, but Saka was the man that created that own goal. For the fantasy people, a lot of people who had Zinchenko would have been very happy. Zinchenko coming up big with, I think, 12 or 13 points.
12 points.
I don't have him, so pain and suffering for me with Zinchenko. But, good afternoon to Dwayne Hernandez. Indeed, big up United in the house. So, but today we're not talking primarily United stuff. We're talking Premier League stuff.
Yeah.
Let's wait talk about our game, boy. Arsenal continuing their good form from pre-season.
Yeah, I know it have a lot of people out there who posting it, especially fantasy players, because everybody was banking on seeing Gabriel Jesus delivering the fire on the day one. What pleased me in the game? Firstly, I would like to give big credit to Crystal Palace. I find Crystal Palace, they continued right to the left of last season, President Chad. I felt like they made Arsenal work to get the goals. They really nullified Odegaard. Well, I pick Odegaard for my fantasy side, but they nullified that guy a lot. But Zinchenko, I just say Zinchenko looked like he has been playing with Arsenal for 4 years or something. Boy, that guy just settling and running things in the back there. It was a game that was exciting to see. I felt like it gave a lot of justice. It welcomed the Premier League back again with a real bang, boy. Real excitement.
We all remember the fireworks last year with Arsenal losing to Brentford.
Yeah.
To kick things off. This year they started off with a win. So Saturday, we had the first of the big boys playing Liverpool, playing Fulham. And everybody expected Liverpool to just crush Fulham, newly promoted team. But that was not how the game went. So the scoreline, it ended up 2-2. Both times Liverpool coming from behind.
Yeah.
Because Fulham scored first. The man Mitrovic, who was breaking all kind of records down in the championship. Let me just talk a little bit about Mitrovic, right?
Yeah.
Mitrovic last year scored 44 goals for Fulham in the championship in 43 appearances. 44 goals. Now, I'll be honest with you, there are a lot of people that were like, nah, forget he, because the last time he was in the Premier League, which was in 2020, 2021, the man scored 3 goals.
He choked.
In 27 appearances. So everybody was like, you see, Mitrovic, he good for the championship. He good for a lower level. A lot of people wasn't expecting him to come good or to come big in the Premier League, but Mitrovic start off the thing hot, 2 goals. Now it's only early days, first game, but, he looked good. He dominated Trent Alexander-Arnold.
Yeah.
Made him his, little lady, and he put away a penalty. In terms of Liverpool, Darwin Núñez, boy.
Yeah, that is the guy. Whew. I felt like I paid too much money for him, but that is the guy, boy, President Chad, boy. That fella thirsty.
Yeah.
That fella real thirsty.
Darwin Núñez seemed like he might be the real deal.
Yeah.
That 100 million might be,
It could be justified. It could be. He looking like he eager to justify that price and shoot, boy. No kicks. No kicks at all.
We also had a touch on Salah, boy. Salah has scored his equal a record held by Frank Lampard, Wayne Rooney, and Alan Shearer. Before we say what our record is, people come on in the comments. Let me know. What do you think? What is the record that Salah would have equaled with Wayne Rooney, Frank Lampard, and Alan Shearer? Before we finish talk about this game, I will answer that question. But give us a guess. What you think it is? What do you think Salah did that equal a record with these fellow greats? Salah just continue to do it. I know you were telling me that Salah is a player that you don't really like too much.
Yeah, boy. Yeah, he's not my favorite boy, but yeah, the thing, President Chad, like for me personally, why I would always, no, I don't personally like him, but why I will always rate him is because he have that kind of factor where Salah, the guy just clinical, boy. Like Salah doesn't need to have a good game. So he could really have a horrible game, but he's going to score or he's going to assist. The guy just have a knack in him. And I mean, Fulham, they experienced that Saturday. Because for the large part of the game, he really was non-existent. They were dealing with him well. And then literally out of the blue, he just had a little spurt. He get across. I mean, unfortunately for the defender, he come off on Nunez, and then predatory instinct again. He went dry again for a little while, and then a ball come in that when Nunez basically miscontrol. And who was Johnny on the spot? Is Mo Salah again. You know, so this guy proving that no matter what tactics he set, you just had to expect him to be in all the dangerous areas and plays in Liverpool. And regardless of what you think, this guy going to be a problem.
Yeah. Well, let me answer that question. Nobody seems to be too sure what it is. So let me answer that question. The Salah is 8 goals. 8 goals scored on opening day. Right? He has the most amount of goals scored on opening day in the Premier League, joint with Wayne Rooney, Alan Shearer, and Frank Lampard. However, he has done it in less goals than all of those guys did it. So once next season come around, well, he signed his extension with Liverpool, so we expect Salah to be around.
Yeah.
Once next season come around, if he scores again, he would own that record. So Mo Salah is now tied with the most goals on opening day. So for all of those fantasy football freaks, if you didn't captain Mo Salah, that is your fault. You did not do your research.
Well, what about if you didn't even pick him?
You understand? You have to do your research.
But I mean, President Chad, if we're dealing with this game, right? I mean, I tend to watch the championship a lot, right? Especially being a fantasy player. So I watch the championship a lot.
Just to talk a little bit about Fulham, so people would know what to expect with Fulham
going forward. Because for me, I felt like this coach who they have, he clearly did his homework, and I will really be interested in seeing how they going forward. Because he didn't use Mitrovic as he normally would have. Mitrovic last time they were in the Premier League, he was nullified easily because he was the point man, right? And anything in the box they would gather. And Liverpool, they took the same approach. They clogged the center. But if you watch how Mitrovic, how his goals came, like none of them were really, the penalty wasn't achieved in the center of the box. The header didn't come in the center of the box neither. As a matter of fact, it's almost as though he used Mitrovic's height, aggression to target Trent Alexander-Arnold. Now I know a lot of people like Trent, but he literally exposed Trent, and he didn't switch from that game plan at all. Big up to De Cordova-Reid too, the Jamaican. Like, he made Trent Alexander-Arnold heavily uncomfortable from the jump, President Chad. Like, he ran at Trent the entire game. I was really surprised that that he had the confidence to do it, but the coach didn't change from his game plan at all. I mean, you're coming up against championship pedigree, so Fulham kind of is decided to get leggy. They lost concentration. Allow Liverpool to come back in the game. But for me, the main takeaway from the entire game, President Chad, that Liverpool midfield. Klopp had to work out our midfield because those three players, Thiago, Henderson, and Fabinho, these guys solid as technical players, but three of them cannot play at the same time. Way too slow. And Fulham pressed these guys, and who would have ever thought they would have been here? Fabinho, Trent, Fabinho, Thiago, and Henderson making consistent bad passes. It was really shocking to see. When Elliott came on, everything changed, you know?
No preseason.
Yeah. But I don't work on that midfield. That midfield for Liverpool really concerning. It really, really is concerning.
Jeremy and Just Rollins in the comments. We're gonna get to Manchester United's game in a little bit. This is the rewind, so we're gonna highlight all those comments, all them comments. Only just put up there. We're gonna bring them in when we get to that game. Do you think Fulham is going to stay up? I know it's only one game. You know, we don't want to get beside ourselves.
Definitely.
Do you think Fulham is going to stay up?
Definitely. Ceiling for Fulham is 12th. I really don't even see them finishing like in the top 10, but 12th. Why I say 12th? I'm banking solely on the slight restructuring the coach did. I honestly had them going down when they sold Carvalho to Liverpool. Because he was the heart of the team, him and Wilson. And Wilson wasn't there neither. But his adjustment and doing his homework on Liverpool, it shows that he has not just a plan, but he came into this Premier League assessing everybody else, and he's going to be like, we're not backing down from anybody, but we're going to adjust and attack you where it hurts. Do they have the depth? They don't have the depth. There is no concern. But if they continue to play with the same intensity, the same high pressing, and with the coach being as tactical and strategic as he is, yeah, I see them definitely staying up for me. I have them as one of the teams to stay up.
And what were your thoughts on Pereira? Pereira had a good game?
Oh yeah. I would no, I don't wanna. Pereira is a player I felt when he was at Man U. He didn't heed to the training regime. Because you're always a great
United or Manchester United. We don't say Man U on this channel.
Manchester United. He was always
Man United.
He didn't take to the training regime. I felt he always had the technical abilities and everything like that, but he never seemed interested in winning the ball, protecting the ball. But if you give him the ball in an attacking play, the man is dynamite. Really is. I was really, really impressed with how he basically was the fulcrum of Fulham's team. That was really impressive for the most part. I felt he deserved a goal also. He really, really played well. But that thorn in the side still remained. And I felt at times he was chasing late to get back the balls. When they do a high press, sometimes he would not step up.
He's not that secure defensively, you're fine.
Yeah. But he's a promise. But I feel like I felt if he took heed to the training and tactical setups when he was at Manchester United, Fulham might have probably won that game yesterday. They might have won that game yesterday while he was on. Because I felt the confidence from Liverpool came when he wasn't interested in pressing to win the ball. And that gave Fabinho comfort to start to get involved. He was largely out of the game. And then as Fabinho came in and the defense get comfortable to start to build the place from the back, which Liverpool likes, everything just started shifting from there. So we'll see if the coach gets him to start to be a ball winner some way or the other.
All right, cool. So, I mean, we know we're going to see a lot more of Liverpool. We know Klopp is going to figure out our midfield. So, we're going to be talking about a lot of Liverpool throughout the course of the season. So, we ain't really going to stress on Liverpool right now. So, let's move on to the other games that went on Saturday. You had Bournemouth, one of the other promoted sides, taking on Aston Villa. I wouldn't lie to tell you, I was expecting Aston Villa to start off this season with a bang. They
Me too.
started off with a whimper. Danny Ings only getting a yellow card, no assists, no goals. As Aston Villa lost 2-0 to
Yeah.
Bournemouth. The scores was Jefferson Lerma and Moore. Those were the guys scoring. I don't really know much. I would not pretend to know these players from Bournemouth, but I guess as time goes on, we're going to learn about them.
Just to stick up in there, Kiefer Moore, I mean, big credit to Wayne Rooney, you know. Kiefer Moore in the championship when Rooney was by Derby.
Derby, yeah.
Kiefer Moore, his style of play drastically changed under Rooney. Where Rooney basically, he used to play like with a next striker, and Rooney basically threw him out there like how Everton used to use Rooney, and basically put the responsibility on him and be like, you got to create your own stuff. And that happened, and then last season he looked really dangerous. He didn't have a lot of chances, but he was clinical. And to see him yesterday, he showed flashes of the predatory instinct as well. But we must big up Manchester United legend Wayne Rooney, because for me, that is the guy responsible in Kiefer Moore being the player he is, and he's one to watch for sure. He's cheap in the FPL too, but he's a striker to watch, but he don't need many chances. But if he get one, you could be in big trouble with that guy.
Guys, you see, that's why we have you on the program, to give us this kind of information. You understand what I'm saying? Keep us up to date, especially help us with some little fantasy tips as well, so we could start to look at more. Leeds took on Wolves. This is another game I would have gotten. If I was betting money, I would have lose money on this game for sure. Because I was thinking, you know, Wolves, everybody keep talking about Wolves and Neto and da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
And then Wolves come up against Leeds and they lost.
Yeah.
Daniel Prudence scored first. Wang assisted. I personally think Wang looked good in the game. Generally. Neto and Prudence look good as well, but I don't know. Wolves seem to have a problem putting the ball in the back of the net.
Yeah,
their challenge is scoring goals. And a team that I also think is going to have a problem scoring goals is Leeds, but Leeds won, scoring with Rodrigo and an own goal. That goal from Rodrigo, taking the ball, cutting the ball back from 1 foot, faking the shot, and then kicking it with his other foot, I thought was class. That was a really well taken goal. As is the first game of the season, Leeds are one of the teams that I think could possibly go down this season. Simply because you lose Phillips, you lose Rafinha, and the people you add are not really anybody of note. Bamford, we still don't know what version of Bamford we're going to get. Whether we're going to get the first season when Bamford was unbelievable, or we're going to get last season Bamford where he was probably on the medical table more than on the pitch.
True.
So, but for you, when you think about Leeds, what is your ceiling for Leeds this season?
I have to share the same sentiment with you, President Chad. I have them as one of my favorites or my candidates to go down as well. I feel like they are another team that really have a structure of play, like when you're watching them. So they have some exciting talents. But as you say, you never know which Bamford going to show up. The main safety in Calvin Phillips, he's gone. Coach brought in some players who he knows well actually. He brought in some American players, Aronson and some others, who he knows well from working with them from before in the American setup. How confident he is in starting them, I don't know how that will go because he backlash to them.
Historically, there are not a lot of guys that come from the MLS and do well. No, don't get me wrong, there are a few that have done well, but in terms of numbers overall,
it's not many.
So taking that gamble is a big gamble, but let's see.
Yeah. I feel like he's looking to get players who he knows, because it looks evident from his onset. He knows his team doesn't have depth. He lost some of his main players. I believe he knows that they are in a dogfight already. If they want to stay up, So he's trying to get players who he's familiar with to try to build a culture somehow to make it happen. I was impressed in Leeds pressing though. I felt like they smelled blood against Wolves, and Wolves could end up being a candidate to go down as well because Wolves has done this last season, the season before, where they will create a million chances and they would miss, and then
And
concede late and pay the price. And this season hasn't started any different at all, and it's concerning. It really is concerning for Wolves. If you watch Wolves play, you would be like, nah, boy, this team finishing mid-table. But then when you watch the finishing, whew, boy, I don't know.
yeah, they really need a striker.
Yeah.
Just is saying go all out for Ruben Neves and forget
Hmm.
Frankie. Well, boy, I don't know 100 million or how much ever was one for Neves. I don't know that he would that. I don't know. But we will get to United in a little bit. Newcastle played the other team that came up, the final one out of the three that played on the weekend, against Nottingham Forest. Sorry, not Newcastle. Nottingham Forest was the final team that came up. So Nottingham Forest against Newcastle. Newcastle won the game 2-0. OMG is all I have to say about that goal from Sharboy. Wow.
Yeah.
That was a bullet. It
Where that
had
came from?
power. It had swerve. Henderson couldn't do anything in the goal
Nah.
for Nottingham Forest about that. And Callum Wilson goals as well. Oh my goodness. That guy is a quality striker.
Yeah, he is.
Watchman, that is the kind of sneaky finish for world-class strikers. You understand what I'm saying? You don't see normal people scoring them kind of goals. So all around it was a good game. And we must touch on Nottingham Forest a little bit though. The third one to come up. They, based on the way they played in the championship, even though they had to fight through the system. What do they call it again?
The promotion playoff.
Playoffs, right? They had to fight playoffs to come up. Their style of play, I thought, would have been the most suited to the Premier League. So Nottingham Forest is the team that I expect to stay up out of the three. If I had to bet on one, they're the one. When you look at them play yesterday, how do you think they're adapting to the Premier League?
Oh, they're not adapted yet. But I wouldn't. How to say it, boy? When I watch their business in the transfer market, I have them coupled with Leeds, and Everton as my contenders to go down. I felt they bought in. I mean, they bought Jesse Lingard, and we know that Lingard always wants the opportunity to shine for our team, right? But I felt they brought in so many players, and when in the Premier League, it's not like the Championship, so you don't really have time to settle in. You don't have 40-something games; it's 38 games. And I feel like, especially having lost this first game, they just had to adapt and try to get clicking as fast as possible. Their style of footballing at certain points, it wasn't consistent, but there were moments where they started kind of moving the ball, and it was like, wow, this team could be trouble if they get it to flow. But then it was real brief and in between. Credit to Newcastle, because Newcastle looked like the owners and them, like they're trying to impress the owners. Everybody looking like they're looking to be a main contender.
And then you bonus at the end of the year, they know the bonus could afford
the bonus. But I will be honest, President Chad. I played football before, and I am being very honest. To concede a goal like that from Fabian Shah, that could deflate anybody, boy. Listen to me, you could be playing how good is it to concede that type of a wonder goal? Yo, they started marking people who were in no position to hurt them at all. That is how they end up playing after. Like, they were like, them players scoring these kind of things, so they panicked.
They were shocked.
Yeah, boy. It was. So that was saying, let me see them in the next game, because that Fabian Shah goal, I felt like that was the end. That was the end of Nottingham Forest after that. It really shocked them.
All right. I hear that. Guys, like the video, support what we're doing here at the United Hour. I mean, yes, we are a United fan channel, but we also have fantasy content and we have just Premier League content. We're just talking football. Of
Yeah.
course, when the World Cup comes around, we're gonna
Hmm.
be talking World Cup football as well. So moving on, Spurs versus Southampton. Now, the most interesting thing about this game is not the scoreline. Spurs won 4-1. The most interesting thing about this game is that Kane and or Son were not on the score sheet.
Yeah.
And I do not know when last Spurs won a game where they
And none
scored
of them.
3 or more goals. And Kane and or Son was not on the score sheet. So that is like really out there. But
Yeah.
let's run through the Southampton opened the scoring with James Ward-Prowse. A nice finish. It amazes me that James Ward-Prowse is still playing at Southampton. I would have thought one of the big teams would have come in for James Ward-Prowse
Yeah.
at some point because he is clearly head and shoulders the best player on
Above,
that team,
yeah.
and he has been for a few years. He is the best dead ball taker in the entire Premier League.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
season, let's see if Ericsson continues to get 90 minutes. Maybe he might challenge him for that. But James Ward-Prowse, in terms of scoring free kicks, in terms of putting the ball on a man's head from corners, he has been the man. And outside of that, however, Southampton lost Bojan, and Southampton seems to me that they're going to struggle to score goals.
Yeah.
And I personally have them on my list to go down.
Right.
With Everton.
Yeah.
Right? In terms of the Premier League teams who are in danger, it is Southampton, Everton, and Leeds. For me, those are the three Premier League teams that I think will be fighting relegation.
That's a good tree. That is not a bad tree at all.
Because they don't have any strikers. They don't have any. Let me not say Che Adams is not a striker, but you know what I mean. They don't have quality, consistent finishers. Che Adams not giving you 20 plus goals in the Premier League, and they don't have anybody to do it since they sold Danny Ings, and I think Southampton in trouble. Spurs didn't look good, I'll be honest, in my opinion. They look scrappy. They look like it really looked like the first game of the season.
Yeah.
You know, like they was getting up some cobweb, but
it's true.
They just had too much talent. Sessegnon started ahead of Perisic, and he got the first goal. I know a lot of people would have been a little pissed about that because a lot of men had Perisic on the fantasy team. I had him, but I ended up selling him.
Yeah, I too.
Before I started the season. And no, the fact that Sessegnon scored, I don't know. He looked good enough, but I don't know what the coach is going to do going forward, because Perisic is one of those players that once you feel he has his legs, you had to gain minutes. He demands minutes. He's that good. Eric Dyer scored the second goal. Son with the assist. When you hear Eric Dyer, you know it's a set play, because other than that, there's no reason for Eric Dyer to be in the box. They had an own goal score as well, and then the final score was Kulusevski. He's a guy I wish I had in my fantasy team. I really wanted him, but I just couldn't fit him in, boy. Too much money. But don't worry, we might be getting there. So no goals for Kane, no goals for Son, but Spurs winning 4-1. What was your expectation of Spurs this season? The manager seems to be getting along well with Levy. The manager seems to be being backed. He's getting everything he's been asked for. You know, do you think there are a lot of people that picking Spurs to get into that top four this time around because the manager is there from the beginning of the season?
It's traditional with the likes of, let's say, Carlo Ancelotti, Roberto Mancini. Italian coaches tend to have a style, a system that they don't really deviate from, but they have more than one type or style of play. Antonio Conte, he thrives on this 3-5-2. He loves it, or a 3-4-3. He does not like playing four in the back. He doesn't like it, so he puts his wing backs in a special training in preseason and stuff to push their fitness to a different level. And we saw the result of that with Ryan Sessegnon. Ryan Sessegnon looked as though he looked razor sharp, and he kept that energy for the entire game. I feel like the system that Conte has deployed, the players are comfortable and they are liking it. It will be interesting to see Kane over the season. I captained him actually, so I felt the bite of it. But it will be interesting to see his mood as the season goes along, because Conte's style, if we watch it here, it isn't the play where direct get the ball to Kane, build up and get the ball to Kane in the middle to score, which is where Kane he buys his goodies there. So it'll be interesting to see his morale as the season goes along. But he clearly has his confidence in Kulusevski, in Son. Perisic came on late, but he looked sharp and looked dangerous. So they have it going on. He loves Betancourt as well. So he has a good system going on. And you could see that from the set plays even. The way the movement of Eric Dyer and stuff too, he has them working on set play drills. So Tottenham, for me, in my preseason prediction, I predicted Tottenham actually finishing second. So let's see if I'll finish wrong with that. And I predicted that based on the buys that Conte buy, and also the leadership style that he has as a coach. He's going to get his players to play his style. He's going to get him to give him 100, and that is not going to change with Conte. So let's see how it goes forward with him. Oh, Mike. So yeah, I think I ain't hearing something on my side.
Sorry about that. I
Yeah.
did talking to myself. Yes, I was saying that some people might be a little surprised that you're expecting Spurs to finish so high, but people need to remember Conte is a Premier League winning coach.
Yeah.
You understand? He knows how to win the Premier League, and as you say, he knows how to win the Premier League with his style.
Yeah.
Anderson doesn't agree with you. He's laughing. He can't believe that you say Spurs going to finish second.
Yeah, I'm a little brother. I know that. Since I made the prediction and I told him, he laughed too bad. But
don't worry.
Yeah.
Time will tell. I mean, what he had to do, he had to come in the hot seats and make a prediction himself,
Yeah, but we will get him on, don't worry, we'll get him on.
And
we will get him on.
When we hear, we could only give our opinions, but when we look bad, we just look real bad. Yeah. Moving on to one of the I guess one could say the only really kind of boring game, which was Everton Chelsea.
Ooh.
Everton had the best time to play Chelsea because Chelsea hasn't been clicking in preseason. And as far as I'm concerned, at some point in time, Tuchel is going to get Chelsea running.
Yeah,
he's going to get Chelsea running. He's going to sort out that defense. So for those people who play in Chelsea within the first 5 games, if you don't get some points from Chelsea, now you're going to be in trouble.
Yeah,
and
true.
Everton shows what we all know with no Calvert-Lewin and with them selling Richard Eriksen, that they cannot score a goal.
Yeah,
I think if Frank put on his kit and come out there, he might quicker score than anybody on Everton. Anyway, the score in the game was Everton 0, Chelsea 1. It was scored. It was a penalty that Jorginho put away. I'll be honest with you. I wasn't impressed with the game at all.
The worst game of the weekend, hands down. It from that game, it possibly might be. I don't think we could see a game, President Chad, worse than that. I think we could go on a limb and even assume worst game of the season. It does not
the
get
season
more.
Was, let me leave it on the weekend. It will be nice.
Listen to me,
the worst game of the season.
I felt like both of them, they were like so lost.
That would be good.
Ooh.
But as I say, anybody who betting against Chelsea, don't waste your money. Don't waste your money. Chelsea is going to get themselves together. They're going to get themselves in a gear. So all those teams that play in Chelsea now, You had to do something. You had to do something because if you ain't do it now,
You're in trouble later.
yeah. You'll get in trouble. You'll be in trouble with that later for
He
sure.
say Lampard ain't clicking either.
No, well, I'll be honest with you. My prediction is Lampard is going to be the first coach to get,
Yes.
to get his short bus. No, I do expect Lampard to last past Christmas.
Well, but I didn't expect him to see Emancipation Day, no President Chad. If I was surprised he passed Emancipation Day, boy. Wow. Whew. Wow, boy. It's like,
I mean, I don't want to make it sound like if Frank is such a bad coach, but the reality of it is that the team is a bad team. They haven't brought in any goal scorers. They sold one of their goal scorers. You can't. Who it is you're gonna put them? You put in the Mary Gray. You put in Gray. You put in that pressure on Gray back to take you through the season. If that is what you're doing, you're wasting time. Gosh, at least freezing on my dear boy. So yeah, as I was saying, if that is what you're doing, you're wasting time. So we expect that they're gonna have a hard time. And let's switch across to the games today, the final 3 games of the weekend. We had Leicester playing Brentford, going up 2-0. I couldn't believe when I saw the final score that Leicester found a way to draw the game.
Yeah.
Right? Leicester going up through Castagna, James Maddison. Watch me, that header, it was a corner. James Maddison with the assist, but that finish was really good. That was really a really good finish from Castagna. And then
Dewsbury Hall, boy.
Dewsbury Hall. Now I'm very upset with Dewsbury Hall today, scoring on an assist from Vardy. Because Dewsbury Hall is one of those cheap midfielders in fantasy. And a lot of people have Dewsbury Hall and I don't. So I was very upset when I saw that.
I drop him too.
Yes, no, I didn't have him. I don't expect Leicester. Leicester to me has not gotten stronger; they have gotten weaker.
Yeah,
I don't intend to buy any Leicester players in fantasy right now. They need to show me something for me to even consider them. But a lot of people, based on preseason, invested in Dewsbury Hall and he paid them back. Brentford, if there's one thing Brentford is going to give you is fight. Ivan Toney with a wonderful bring down.
Boy.
Henry. And the man, the Silva. For people who don't know, you will not know who the Silva is because he was injured all of last season and didn't really fit here. But the season before, when Brentford was coming up in the championship, this was the main man for Brentford. This was the number 10. He was the main creator for Brentford. Yeah. So don't sleep on the Silva. You might think to yourself, well, who Brentford buy? What Brentford do? But now they have their best midfielder back on the inside. So Brentford is not a team that I expect to go anywhere. I expect them to remain in the Premier League this season. However, I do expect them to finish outside of the bottom 10 though. But what are your thoughts on Leicester? You think Leicester is going to finish higher or lower down than they finished last season?
I'm being optimistic. I think higher. Why I would say higher, I don't see them contending at all. I don't even see them reaching in. They may probably make the Conference League, possibly. But I expect them to be this is what Brendan Rodgers does, right? He has a team and he's going to make the team solid. He's going to make them compact in the middle. He's going to cause the overlaps, put the balls through. When you're expecting a cross, probably whip it with pace across instead of floating it and hope for Vardy and them to run on date. So his style is not going to change.
Using Schmeichel, I don't see how that helps him. Schmeichel is a very good
that was a big blow. I really felt that one too. Because I felt like for the most of the game, I felt he didn't have much to do. But let's talk about positioning. And I was not impressed with Ward's positioning. I really wasn't impressed with his positioning. So he looked unsettled. He didn't look prepared as he should have been. He has talent, but he ain't no Schmeichel. He is not a Schmeichel. And I think the centre backs in front of him, Drewsbury Hall is no longer being used as a ball winner or defensive midfielder as he played in the first season. He's clearly being operated from preseason and the first game as a box to box. So that safety in front of Ward now is even weaker. So they could get some goals when they bounce up teams that have men coming at you, coming through the middle. So that could be interesting to see.
Leicester's next game is against Arsenal, so let's see what our defense does.
I think I'm glad I have Odegaard then because, oh, wow, I could see some problems on the middle there.
Yeah. Arsenal is definitely firing, so let's see what Leicester could do. Manchester United versus Brighton, the first game for Erik ten Hag. Welcome to the Premier League. And he was welcome to the Premier League with a big, fat L. Manchester United losing to Brighton again. The last time we played Brighton, we lost 4-0. We lost today 2-1. The truth be told, first game of the season, but Manchester United hasn't scored a goal for the season. It was an own goal.
Yeah.
So it really was a challenge. Let me pull up some of these comments that were made a little earlier. Jeremy was saying, hope all your love, good, plenty disappointment to all the United supporters with Mark Fred. And I think that was a lot of the complaints. A lot of people were challenged with Mark Fred. Ronaldo started on the bench, which is to me was understandable because he only had 45 minutes of preseason. So I didn't expect, because if you start Ronaldo, he definitely wasn't going to play 90 minutes. So what were you going to do in the second half, right? So he didn't start Ronaldo. For those people who may not remember Marko Arnautovic, he was playing with, can't remember the team, but he was in the Premier League a few seasons ago. Manchester United put in a bid for him. Yes, he's 33 years old, but the bottom line is Manchester United need some kind of quality up front as they're going to have real challenges. So
look, I think, okay, so I mean, I know I've seen a lot of blasts coming in, a lot of people referencing his age too, because he is old, right? But I live watching the Serie A.
He old in football years.
Yeah.
33 years old in football years.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is I watch the Serie A, obviously, and I watch him playing there. I think it's Bologna. But the guy, Arnautovic hasn't lost his step. And definitely, I would say his Stoke was good, right? Yeah. But what I would say is this, right? A lot of people fail to remember Ten Hag paying in a bit to buy Sebastian Haller. That sent ripples through the football world. Or you go buy he for Ajax, that make no sense, and you think Tagliafico for disciplinary reasons, and you're benching he, and look, you bring this and that. Sebastian Haller lit up the Champions League and the Eredivisie, simply because he got rid of Tagliafico, which nobody thought would ever happen. He changed his style and focus, and he brought in Haller to live in and around that 6-yard area. And the guy didn't understand a movement to do, but he was critical there. Marko Arnautovic has that same potency. He's bigger than Haller. He's definitely more aggressive. So if he comes to Manchester United, listen to what I'm telling you. This guy could be a big problem with Ten Hag as the coach, with his system. Because he did it with Haller, he could do it with Arnautovic. Because he still has, and he has the propensity to score blockbuster goals out of nowhere too. I mean, it's a step down based on if you're looking at what other teams doing in the transfer market. But the guy could bring dividends in back to Old Trafford. He could bring some dividends to the club.
And if we're being honest, the transfer market as far as strikers go is very thin.
Yeah,
Chelsea is struggling to right now, Chelsea and United fighting over an 18-year-old who at best is a prospect. and a team calling $50 million. right, for Sesko. So we need to be real.
Yeah.
This sometimes there are crops of talent. This season, there is no crop of strikers. There were two good strikers to get. Let me rephrase that. There were two excellent strikers to get in Haaland and probably this fella from PSG who didn't end up moving, Mbappe, and then after that you had Darwin Núñez, and that was it. There was not this big crop of strikers, right?
True.
Because
True.
so whoever United gets, if they get, is going to be significant. Chelsea as well. I personally believe that after all is said and done, Chelsea may turn back around, even though they said no, and try to get Ronaldo, because Chelsea needs a number 9. Chelsea needs a proper number 9.
Yeah.
Manchester United need a proper number 9.
The thing about it is, if Ronaldo goes to Chelsea, Chelsea could become real problems. Yeah, it could be problems because, I mean, for whatever reason, he still isn't comfortable by Man U.
Man United.
Yeah, Manchester United. But I would say, for me, so I am an AC Milan fan, true and true. And Kessie was our main player, but I was happy to let him go because he didn't want to stay. And if you keep a player that isn't comfortable, you're not going to get, it doesn't matter how talented they are, you're not going to get 100% out of them
That's
on
exactly
the pitch.
My position with Ronaldo.
Yeah.
If he wants to leave, let him leave.
Let him leave.
Somebody had a want you.
But that's
I don't know what is wrong. I thought goat was vogue. I like goat in Korea, but it seems nobody interested in goat at all, boy. Nobody know what I goat. I know goat when it get old, the meat does get hard, so maybe maybe Ronaldo having some challenges. People feel, you know what I mean? You're under some pressure.
But for me, honestly, how to say this, boy? I felt like the what caused Manchester United today, honestly, was more on Ten Hag than anything else. Watching the preseason, and the whole preseason, one of the, if not the most critical player to their style going forward, and the whole setup of Ten Hag style was Malacia. I was like, wow, I see why he get this guy. This youth man was, I mean, he's a little green. He falls a little bit too much. But in terms of his style of play, his involvement going forward,
his
chasing back even. Yeah, and he runs back on the right lines as well, which for some people overlook that. But as a defender, running back on the right line is critical, right? Because you don't want people to get inside of you. So when I saw they were playing Brighton, I was expecting Malacia to start, and I knew he would have been problems for them. When I saw Shaw got an assist in preseason, but when Shaw played, the team looked slower. The build-up play wasn't as consistent. So when I saw Luke Shaw starting, I was like, what is Ten Hag doing? Like, what is he really doing? And for me, I mean, I'm no Manchester United fan, but if I was a Manchester United fan, smoke would have been coming through my ears because we have so much promise, so much build-up, and then there's the first day, the opening day of the Premier League for us, and you do this random tweak and throw in Shaw, who clearly slowed down the entire system of play, and make it worse now. You wait until the 89th minute when the game is basically already lost, and then you throw in two players and Malacia to do what? Because you put him on now and you're going to actually have him to be trying to win the ball and go forward with it, which you have proven whole game you have been susceptible to the counter-attacks of Brighton in any way. So it's almost, if I'm a Manchester United fan, I'm literally like, you're pulling on my heartstrings here because you basically put us in a situation where we're done losing and now you want to kind of like, what they're trying to do, just reward to throw on Malacia now?
I have to totally agree with you. as much as he's a new coach and he has rope as far as I'm concerned. He has a lot of rope because he's a new
Yeah,
coach. You're coming to a new league. You're trying to instill a new way of playing onto these players. And I could tell you as a Manchester United supporter, these players are very, very stubborn players. It does look
yeah,
good 1 minute, and the next minute they just behave like they forget how to play football.
true.
Right? So I do expect him to fix everything overnight. But I agree, his decision making today was a little baffling for me.
Yeah,
I was a little disappointed to see Shaw start. I do understand Shaw has that Premier League experience and you probably
yeah.
want to phase Malacia in, but Shaw wasn't doing it for you. You know,
No.
he and Rashford was looking very dangerous on that side,
Mm-hmm.
in preseason. You should have continued with it. But nonetheless, Ronald Martial being injured didn't help.
True.
So and the team just generally underperformed. I see why they would have brought in a striking coach, because the reality is you're going to get chances, but if you're not going to finish, you can't win
Problems.
games if you don't score goals,
Yep.
right? And Bruno Fernandez missed by his standing what should have been a sitter,
Yeah.
and Marcus Rashford was $1 short every time he was on the end of something.
I mean,
So
let's spend a little time talking about, well, not a little time, but just make a mention, as you made mention of this guy. Bruno Fernandez, I've been following him for years, right? He was one of the young prodigies that had the technical ability, like at Sporting. You really couldn't give him time and space. He's a wonder player. But there was a problem I had with him since he was at Sporting, and in the Portuguese youth setup as well, which was, as once there was another superstar in the team alongside him, and it wasn't everything about Bruno, his performances just drop, and then he's agitated. Everything he complains about, and and he came to Manchester
just
United.
now, so what Manchester United supporters are seeing manifest with Bruno right now, you are saying that is something that has manifested throughout his career.
His entire career. It happened with the Portugal youth setup. It happened by Sporting Lisbon. When he moved across to Manchester United, I was excited. I had him in my fantasy side one time because when I watched the roster, I was like, "This is his team," and like goal, just like clockwork, he delivered in full. As soon as Cristiano Ronaldo was brought into the team, I dropped him, and people tell me I'm mad and stuff. And the reason why I dropped him is because I've been following this guy historically because I like his talent, but he has this mental issue. Once another superstar is there with him, I don't know what is going with him in his mind, but his style, everything just drops and changes. He tries the extravagant almost too often. So for me, I have a problem. I have an issue with him, and I feel like, honestly, should Cristiano Ronaldo be sold today or tomorrow? And I mean, I could put my name on this. If Cristiano Ronaldo is sold today or tomorrow, the league will not have a defense to deal with Bruno Fernandez. Start that, I said that. If Cristiano Ronaldo is sold today or tomorrow, show me the defense or the midfielder going to stop that guy. And I can tell you, everybody's going to struggle because he's going to know where the roster they have. It's his team. And once he believes it's his team, listen to me, you really cannot mark the guy.
Yeah, well,
It's a mental block he has.
Manchester United needs somebody to sit down with him and hypnotize him or do something. He needs to deal with his issues. He needs to deal with it. It can't be a dick measuring contest every time. As a man come along who are bigger than you, you shrink and disappear when he was good all the time.
Yeah.
No, that. Let me just read out Joss's comments. He said, "My view, Rashford needs to continue feeding the children and quit football. Big man thing."
I like Joss.
Dead serious. And all I have to say to just
wow.
Them wicked. I don't know how them so wicked. Why them so wicked? But I know so them wicked.
Okay, just say it as you feel it, brother. Say it as you feel it.
Wow. Wow, President Chad, boy. Wow.
So we're gonna talk about the final game of the season. I have been on the record in many different programs, letting it be known that I expected Erling Haaland to land in the Premier League with a bang.
Wow.
I have been expecting it because this guy delivers. He is one of those players, you have a lot of players that are hyped up. I
And don't
mean,
deliver.
Darwin Núñez for me is somebody who I am waiting to see live up to the hype. But I never questioned Erling Haaland. Erling Haaland he's hype personified, but he delivers, right?
Yeah.
He's not he don't sleep, and he delivered 2 goals today, one from open play, one from a penalty, as Manchester City beat West Ham United. I was surprised to see Bowen because I know Bowen for West Ham was injured, but Bowen played today, so it wasn't as weak a West Ham as I was expecting. West Ham was at their full strength, but they still couldn't do anything against this Manchester City side. What were your thoughts
Well,
on
first thing
Haaland
first.
first? Let's start off with Haaland, and then we'll get into West
Yeah, well,
Ham,
I
because
know.
I think West Ham have some challenges, but we're gonna deal with that a little later.
Yeah. Well, I know I'm a little bit on the stream here. We had a conversation in the fantasy. I didn't pick Erling Haaland. I dropped him actually.
Well, he on my team. He on my team. Was he
Because
captain?
I said
He on my team.
I said I know he is the man is gold, the man is poison. But after the season, I find it's uncharacteristic of him to miss chances, right? But my little brother said, boy, don't drop key, that man was score opening weekend. I said, nah, boy. It's looking like City style might take a while for him to adapt. And boy, he shocked me today. He blew me out of the water. He made my season more words than it. The guy looked sharp. The guy looked what's now? Haaland looked as though he was excited to make those runs behind. Confidence is everything, Listen to me. Confidence is really everything. This guy was willing to, he made a lot of blank runs today because the ball didn't come, but he was so confident to run anytime the ball ended up on the foot of either Grealish, Gundogan, or De Bruyne. He was just eager to move. That is how much he trusts the players.
Yeah,
and for me, after watching today's game,
for years, for people who know football, people have been saying that what City has been missing is a clinical number 9.
Yeah.
Pep and his wanting to full the team full of midfielders. He think he knows better, but clearly he didn't. Because when you look at Erling Haaland's movement today, as you said, the ball didn't come a lot, but his movement,
his problem,
with the kind of quality that City has, I personally expect Haaland to give Salah and Keane a run for that Golden Boot this year.
Yeah. Haaland and Darwin Núñez movement is goal too, His movement is goal too. But the thing with Haaland is it's not just a matter of his movement. I think what people are going to struggle with is that he's a very powerful runner. So balls that would have come over the top and might have bounced, where the defender might be favorite. Defender's going to panic because this guy, I don't know, boy. He has a drive when he's chasing. He covers ground really, really, really fast. So it'll be interesting to see how people deal with him. And then you can't give him chance outside the box. If you ever watch Erling Haaland play for Norway, for Borussia Dortmund, the guy scores from anywhere. He doesn't need to be in the box. So how they will deal with him, I'm waiting to see. The only thing I could see saving people against Erling Haaland is if tinkering Tim Pep Guardiola starts to mix up his lineup for no reason at all, and start to mix up and start different people. That might be the only thing to save people from him. But besides that, he going to light up the Premier League. I had to eat my words. But he and Darwin Núñez, they're going to light up the Premier League, boy.
All right. Yes, indeed. Guys, remember, subscribe to the channel. Support what we're doing here at the United Hour, trying to get Caribbean voices out there into the YouTubes and Twitch And
Yes.
all these spaces out there, we want to get, we in the Caribbean, we know football too. We could talk
True.
football too. And to be honest with you, when you're watching a lot of English football, English commentary, sometimes some of these fellas, they don't know no football. They're just talking
True.
mess on TV. So, well, we're talking about the champions. Do you expect them to repeat? Do you expect Pep to
Yeah,
win
yeah,
3 in a row?
yeah. So I'll be honest. I actually expect Man City to do the double this season here. I expect them to win the Premier League and the Champions League. Yes, I said that. The Premier League and the Champions League. I think if Haaland keeps delivering as we know Haaland could, I think that is a factor that Manchester City really never had, besides Aguero. And I feel like Haaland is a different dimension altogether. So I really feel like he could do the double here.
And
he has more depth.
We haven't said anything about Julian Alvarez as well.
Well, I'm not going to that because Julian Alvarez he was one of my favorite players at Ajax, actually. I felt like he is hyper dangerous. He's another player too who has the effect that Frank Lampard had. Michael Carrick of Manchester United had it as well, in terms of there's a unique, how to say it, but it's an instinct to move kind of late to get in the box, but they move late, sneaky, but they get to the spot before you. And if they get to that spot, listen to me, technically, Alvarez is a guy is not missing the target. And he could score the wonder goal. So he has problems. Calvin Phillips is depth, and he could shut down a party. We saw him at Leeds, so we know what he brings and gives as well. So I feel like the depth factor has definitely been added. So now I feel like Pep could rotate with a little bit more sense and the same effect. And because of that, I think my concern with them, my only concern, would be the fitness of his centre-backs. I don't trust Nathan Ake, not with anything. My life savings, nothing. I don't trust that guy with anything.
What about Stones?
Stones, I feel like Stones has grown, and I feel like once he has a more solid defender next to him, I feel like talking to him, I feel he's comfortable. I was surprised that a team like Manchester United would not have gone for him, because I feel like he's a player that suits them perfectly in terms of sitting down there. But Martinez is a brilliant player as well, so that worked out brilliantly too. But this Manchester City team is a lot of problems with Erling Haaland. It really, really is a lot of problems with Erling Haaland.
For sure. Well, guys, we're looking to shut down the rewind because we're looking to keep it as an hour show, and we have just crossed over our mark. We know people are accustomed going and watch the news in the Caribbean around this time. So, keep it locked every Sunday, 6 p.m. the EPL Rewind here on the United Hour. And we are going to have some more fun. We're going to have fantasy content in the middle of the week. And this game week here, what day game starting? Friday or Saturday? I think it's Saturday.
Saturday, I believe.
Yeah, so we will have your fantasy content early in the week, most likely on Tuesday, and we're gonna have it on Friday. So look out for that fantasy content. We're gonna give you some tips and some tricks and get you up there so you could win some points. I usually say Red Devils don't die, we multiply, but this is the rewind. So we will be seeing next week, Sunday, people. Good night.
Yes, guys. Yes.
Support the United Hour. Click that like button and subscribe.